Critical race theory was trending and seemed to be a large topic of discussion recently because of a White House memo that called for the banning of federal agencies from conducting training on critical race theory or white privilege. So it was really being called out in the public eye, and I think the people who push critical race theory were in a bit of a panic because it's being shown for what it is and how it's the root cause of a lot of the inconsistent and downright baffling narratives you hear out there. These agencies, and also colleges which receive a lot of taxpayer money, and even private colleges have students going there with federal loans, so even they're not off the hook with this, will constantly push this narrative that of course all white people are inherently racist or have some inherent responsibility for racism and should receive condemnation for this or be accused of it in some way. All of this for the simple fact that we were born of a certain color, which, again, is a very odd thing to say, given that real racial justice should be pushing more in the direction of not being divisive, and should be pushing more in the direction of not judging people based off the color of their skin. That seems pretty obvious to most people, but the people who are most concerned with race don't seem to agree with that, which is very strange. And that was the direction we were going in for a long time until the critical race theory started getting its grips onto people, and it began warping and deforming what should be a pretty easy lesson to learn. This is another instance where just simply being as critical as possible and desperately attempting to find any issue in any interaction between people of different races is both outright wrong and completely counterproductive. And if you can't find any issue, well, then you just make one up. As the more prominent critical race theorists say, any interaction between two people of two different races, at the end of the interaction, the question is never, did racism occur? Which is a fair question. The question is, in what form did racism take place? How did racism manifest? And really what they're getting at is asking, how did the white person act racist in this scenario? They said that the other person of another race was smart and intelligent. Well, that is racist according to them, because that indicates they think the default position is that they should not be smart. So it's an invisible yet obvious trap that is infinitely large that you cannot escape. So should federal funding be taken away from agencies, and I hope colleges that push this horrible ideology? Well, I think federal funding should be taken away from most things, but in this instance, that's an absolute and easy yes. In fact, my question is, why was taxpayer money ever even in the first place given to anything like this? I hope it's all defunded, and I hope people continue talking and reading about this subject because it's abjectly insane. I don't see how any reasonable person, regardless of race, could ever buy into it. It's simply an attempt to do the opposite of what it states it wants. They want some racial harmony. Well, this is a weird way to go about that, because all they're doing is driving wedges between two groups for no other reason than to whip up hysteria and needless restlessness. But that is all for now. Like, subscribe, and take it easy.